Are you enjoying what you do? You know, whether you're working, whether you are, whatever it is, hobbies you're doing, whatever stage of your life you're at, are you enjoying what you're doing? It's so important it really is important to enjoy what you're doing, to really enjoy. I don't just mean get out of bed and just think, oh, I've got to do this today. Are you really enjoying what you're doing? Really? So, I've just finished work. I've just been working at a local spa, and whether I'm in my a local spa or in my own treatment room, I always finish and I feel great afterwards, because I really enjoy what I do. What I do, I have some lovely clients. It just makes such a difference. And when clients come in feeling, I don't know, stressed or whatever it is, and then they leave with smiles, they're happy, they just feel great afterwards. And that's so fulfilling. It's very rewarding. So the importance of doing work that you enjoy can't be overstated. It has health benefits. You feel glowing, when you go to work. You radiate, because you're enjoying what you're doing. It gives you energy, you get a bounce in your step, I just find it's just wonderful. I used to be teaching. I used to be in teaching, and the difference, between, sorry, I've got hair in my face. The difference between obviously teaching and becoming a massage therapist. Need I say more? Teaching these days is very stressful. And when I was teaching, I was doing it. I was doing a good job. Did very well. I did it for a few years. But the stress involved with teaching and the amount of work, it was just such a difficult job. It really is. And I really admire teachers who really stick at it, because it's quite a thing. It really is stressful, especially these days, the amount of paperwork involved. Sometimes it's the students as well who are not really wanting to be there, wanting to do what they want to do. You do have lovely people as well, lovely students, but it's just the amount of pressure that is on teachers these days. I think it's almost unnecessary, really. When you think of what teaching actually is, teaching is really facilitating, and to make it so unnecessarily stressful is just, Anyway, I say all that to say this, that it is so important to enjoy what you do, to really enjoy. I've just finished work and I feel great. I actually feel really glowing, and my body feels relaxed. I feel happy. I'm nice and warm, because it's warm in my treatment room. It's warm wherever I work. It's quite warm. It's just great. And so, you really need to find something that you enjoy doing, whether you are working, hobby, whatever it is. Life is too short not to actually have some enjoyment. We do have to do the mundane things. We do have to do mundane tasks, but at the end of the day, life is just too short. You've got to have some time to enjoy yourself, actually have fun. I like to have fun at work, in terms of, it's nice to have a rapport with your clients, rapport with colleagues. It just makes things so much easier. It really does. I find if you're too heavy, that can be quite daunting. It's not nice. And sometimes you do come across some individuals who can be quite heavy, deep, very deep. I'm thinking, sometimes it's not a great idea to be too deep at work, because it depends on where you work, obviously. But if you're working in an office or somewhere where there's a lot of people and you're going really deep, it can be very awkward, because especially if you get involved in something like religion or politics, you know, that can be quite a thing, isn't it? You know, um, yeah, and it can change the atmosphere of the work environment. You know, let me know in the comments if you disagree with that. I mean, you know, I'm open to ideas, but I just think it's good when you're at work to keep things fairly light, really, because especially when you're working with people with diverse views, it's, you know, it can be quite awkward. It makes things difficult, but maybe that's just me. You know, I like to keep it fairly light when I'm at work. You know, why not? Because life is, you know, we have a lot on our plates as it is, so we may as well make the environment, you know, where we have to earn our living, make it friendly and make it, you know, so that it's actually easy and pleasant to be there, you know, pleasant environment. So yeah, I mean, it's one thing to enjoy your work and to find work that you enjoy doing. That's fantastic. You know, that's just a matter of looking at your personality, looking at, you know, your likes, your dislikes. Are you an outdoor person, indoor person? Are you a practical person? Are you a more academic person? You know, are you a bit of both? That's one thing to find. Then the other thing is how to get along with people when you're in the workplace, you know. And that's why I mentioned things like maybe keeping it light, you know, because sometimes I know people do struggle with the social side of work, you know, because obviously everybody has different views, sort of clumped together with people with very different views, and it's just knowing how to navigate around all of that. And I find that keeping things fairly light helps a lot, you know, if you, especially when you're first starting out, you know. I mean, obviously you might find one or two people that you can get a little bit deeper with if you need to, if you have the time to as well. You know, but yeah, just keeping the atmosphere pleasant is important, very important. Yeah, so yeah, it's very important to just find something that really agrees with your personality. I mean, like I have mentioned in previous videos, that I am not an office person at all. I really, I don't really like being told what to do, especially if I know what to do, you know. So I find it quite, it's just not me. It isn't me, you know. I'm a bit of a sort of a free spirit, if you like, and you know, I feel that if I want to do something a certain way, then I will do it a certain way, and I work better that way. You know, I just work best that way when I can use my own initiative, my own autonomy. Maybe that could be the same for you. You know, being autonomous is important. Well, some people might like being told what to do step by step, and you know, being micromanaged in that way. But I'm not really that kind of person. So I think, you know, that would not make me happy at all. So yeah, the point of this, basically, I'm just trying to say, is that it's really important to find out who you are as a person, what it is that makes you tick. You know, is it something that you know, that you know, something that like, for example, you know, if you want to work outdoors, you know, you can find work outdoors, like bricklaying or whatever it is that you need to do. Gardening, that might make you happy. You know, indoors, you've got to just find out who you are as a person and what makes you tick. Yeah, but yeah, I just felt really great. I just thought I'd just hop on here and just share the benefits of just finding work that you enjoy. I just felt glowing afterwards, you know. Yeah, I never used to with teaching. I used to feel absolutely drained, and I realise now that teaching is fine. You know, teaching is fine. I can do teaching. I'm, you know, I was quite good at teaching, but it was the added pressure that that is put upon teachers that was making it draining, really. You know, the students, majority of them were lovely. Staff, you know, if you have chance to even speak to them, because everybody's so busy. The environment is just so busy. Yeah, and so you know, it's interesting because I was just talking to someone, a client, and she was a teacher, and we were just discussing that, and it's interesting that she was saying that she wants to become maybe a massage therapist as well. So we were discussing all of this. She said maybe, in her later years she wants to retrain and do something less stressful. And I recommended it. I said, yeah, definitely massage therapy is a great way to go. Especially if you want to manage your time, you can be freelance. If you're working freelance, it's wonderful. You can go mobile if you want to, or you can have a treatment room. And then you can also find work with local spas as well. So you have a nice variety in your work. But, obviously that's just one thing, something that I did. And yeah, that's what sparked this video, the fact that I was having this conversation, and it was a wonderful conversation. And, it was just lovely. And it just made me think, how you never know how things are going to work out, really, do you? Because I just made a decision to just enroll on in my local college on a course, beauty. I did beauty and the massage course, and it's amazing how a decision like that can change your life, basically. Yeah, I've never been self-employed before, and so it was a step into the unknown. I was working before that. Well, I was raising children before that. Did some work, raised children, and then I thought, what can I do now? And so self-employment just seemed a natural thing for me to do. I just discovered that. It's a natural thing for me to do because, I thought, well, I don't like working for employers, really. Prefer to work for myself. So yeah, you've got to find out what you want to do. You can do it. If self-employment is something that you want to do, if you feel that you want to do that, I recommend just go for it. Find out what it is that you have to offer. Make sure you're good at it. Become very good at it, because a lot of my clients are from word of mouth. I don't often market myself. I don't really very often put out adverts, now and again, but not very often. But yeah, it's word of mouth, or when you have a new client, because you're doing such a good job, 99% of them rebook. Well, maybe 95%. Yeah, rebook. Or if they don't rebook there and then, they're interested in rebooking. So it's a matter of just finding something that you're really good at, provide a really good service, and then people will actually come back to you. Like I say, you go into business not just to get clients, but or business orders. If it's a product, not just orders, but you go into business so that you can get reorders as well, or repeat bookings. If it's in the case of clients. But you have to be good at what you do, which means it's got to be something that you enjoy, and you have a natural lean towards that, or a natural bent towards that, So yeah, if you're watching this and you want some motivation to get started, this is it. This is your sign to do that thing that you wanted to do. I always want to encourage you. I want to motivate you. I feel the benefits myself. Like I said, that's why I just pulled over here and just stopped, because I feel the benefit myself. I just think it's a great thing to do. It can be life-changing, when you're doing something finally that actually is aligned with your personality. That's amazing, it really is. And it just gives you a spring in your step, a sparkle in your eye, It really is. It's yeah, I really want to encourage you to do it. And I would really love to hear if this video has helped you in any way. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe, because I think I want to be on here to help people, to help other people, to motivate. to encourage, you know, to provide, I don't know, some comfort in this world that can be quite cold, lonely, you know. Yeah, I do know there are people that are lonely as well, and you know, sometimes being here on YouTube is like having a friend that you can speak with, you know. And so I want to be that kind of person, you know, that you can just switch on to and just, you know, have a good listen to. We can have a good laugh together, maybe cry together some days, who knows. You know, but yeah, it's yeah, life is a funny thing, really, isn't it? You know, and it's just, I've discovered that really the most thing that we need to really learn is learn who we are. You know, we learn all this information. You know, I worked as a teacher. We teach information, we teach ideas, we teach other people's ideas, we teach about this person, we teach about that person, that philosopher, this philosopher, you know. And you know, at the end of the day, the real person you really need to learn about is you. Yes, you, yourself. You need to learn who you are. You know, we need to know who we are, so that, because everything else we do has to align with who we are. Otherwise, we'll always be out of sync. You know, I mean, if I spent all of my time working in an office, I think I'd be so down. You know, it wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work. Because it suppresses part of your personality that wants to be autonomous. You know, it would suppress that part of your personality that wants to just be creative. You know, it can suppress that part of your personality that wants to be free, if you like, to do and to make decisions, and to move as you feel you need to move, you know. Yeah, so yeah, if that's you, I really want to encourage you to get started on that thing, you know, that you know in the back of your mind, deep in your soul, you know that's you. You know, whether that is cooking, whether that is sewing, whether that is bricklaying, whether that is whatever, you know, it could be art, it could be music, whatever that is. You know, it could be massage therapy, it could be beauty therapy, it could be nails, you know, anything. You know, if you've got a skill, you can become self-employed if you want to. You know, I'm just saying that it's just important to, you know, for the sake of this purpose of this video, because get my words out, for the purposes of this video, I just want to emphasize that it's important to enjoy what you do. So important. There are so many health benefits, you know, so many health benefits. You know, it gets those endorphins going, you know, the dopamine is, you know, it's just a very natural high, isn't it? When you enjoy what you do, you have a natural high. I mean, you know, alongside things like exercise and fresh air and good diet, nutrition, of course, but work takes up a, you know, quite a large part of our day. And so it's got to be important, isn't it, to find something that you enjoy doing, you know, if you're still working, that is, or whatever hobby, you know, just try and enjoy your life, you know. That's all I can say, really, because we have problems. We all have problems. Everybody on earth has problems. You know, we're not the only one. Everybody is walking with a limp, you know. You know, some limps are more obvious than others, you know, but yeah, everybody's walking with a limp, you know. But the thing is, keep walking. You can be joyfully walking with that limp, you know. And sometimes if you don't focus on that limp, you forget that you've got it, you know. So, yeah, you focus on somebody else with a more obvious limp, you know, with a worse limp than yours. And then that's how you get through life, really, without, you know, getting onto medication and, you know, well, I mean, I know that sometimes people need medication, but, you know, generally speaking, it's lifestyle is a factor to take into consideration. You know, enjoyment in life, the amount of enjoyment you have in life is very important. It's so healthy. Laughter is indeed the best medicine. You know, it really is. And if you can find yourself laughing at work, you know, or just having some peace at work, or whatever you're doing, whatever fills your day, just have some enjoyment. Don't fall into the trap of being a couch potato, you know, whereas you get home from the work that you don't enjoy, just to collapse, you know, with a TV dinner, you know, in front of the TV, obviously. You know, you don't want that. That's not healthy. It really isn't. And that's just setting yourself up to be stiff and sore muscles, muscle wastage, weight gain. It's not great. You know, instead find work that you enjoy, you know, so that you get you know, you're active. Then when you get home from work, you've got energy to do other things, like take up a hobby, a musical instrument, go roller skating, go for a nice walk, get some fresh air. All those things will help you to feel healthy, you know. So have some fun, yeah. Leave a comment, yeah, and say what you think of this video. Tell me your ideas. How do you have fun? You know, has this video helped you? I hope to see you in the next one. Have a good one.